boy, and I thought my opinion of the 2002 movie was going to be controversial. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. Unlike the first movie, I do not have childhood nostalgia for this one. This is one that I never got around to watching as a kid. I think the first time I watched it was probably around maybe my early teen years. And I remember really disliking it, like most people, when it first came out. But reevaluating it now, and having just watched it for only, the third or fourth time in my entire lifetime, well, I'm here to tell you that it's not as bad as most people say. Does it have some bad moments? Sure, but the first movie had bad moments too. In my opinion, Monsters Unleashed is a good sequel. Not a great sequel, a good sequel, and just a good movie overall. Now, yes, as an adaptation of its source material, it is still a pretty big slap in the face. And it's not as good as the first movie. But, you know what, this one's fun. It's just fun. It has some great elements about it, and it has some really bad elements about it. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. First one, this one is both a positive and a negative, and that is that the entire cast of the Mystery Inc. game themselves returned. You know, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred, Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, Linda Cardellini as Velma, and Matthew Lillard's Shaggy. This is a mixed bag because Matthew Lillard's Shaggy being back is a huge plus, but I still don't buy Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred. I can't. Not even in that one scene where that one and only time that he whips out an ascot in the whole movie. It's for one moment, and it's not even that big of a moment to begin with, so it's just like why? I'm sorry, but it just doesn't seem like Freddie Prinze Jr. gets what makes Fred, Fred. And no, it's not just because it's not Frank Welker, but because Fred had a charm to him. Sure, for most people that aren't affiliated with this franchise watching it for the first time, he probably may seem like bland toast. But for those of us who grew up with certain eras of the show, we know that Fred is more than just a bland character. He's resourceful, he's funny, and most of all, he's not egotistical. And he just wants to do the right thing, and you can't blame him for that. Problem is, in this movie, the acting is still very wooden from Freddie Prinze Jr., and I still don't buy him as Fred. I don't. I'm sorry. I will never buy him as Fred. The rest of the gang is fine, but just no. I will never buy that. Now, Matthew Lillard's Shaggy, again, still the best part of the movie, just like the first one. And here he's even better because he and Scooby get their own little side plot about trying to figure out their place in the mystery game. A plot line that would later be recycled with Daphne in later Scooby-Doo movies, but you know what? It is what it is. Matthew Lillard is still amazing here as Shaggy, and he's gotten better. I think this is really the first time that we hear his straight-up Mystery Incorporated-esque voice for Shaggy. Because he definitely did his homework, he did a lot of practice, and he is legit funny. He gets some of the best lines in the whole movie. But he also has this emotional side to him, trying to figure out his place in the gang, or make up for his screw-up at the museum, you know? That's relatable, and you can understand his little conflict. And Scooby's still good in here, too. Yes, again, the CGI, ugh. But the voice acting's fine, and he is relatively cartoony as he should be. I also give this one credit for trying to dive deeper into the lore by bringing back all these OG monsters from the original series, like Minor 49er and the Tar Ghost and Captain Cutler. But then you just get stupid crap, like the random zombie they threw in here, or the comic relief skeletons that did not need to be there and just feel like a template that later became the minions. Yeah, the monsters are a mixed bag. Like the CG is still pretty bad on some of them, but when it's actually like a practical effect, it's not half bad. What is bad is all the other characters in the movie. All of them. The mystery is beyond obvious. You can tell everyone's a red herring from a mile away. Some of the acting is so abysmal from some of these guys. And the villain sucks. I'm sorry, the villain sucks from an acting standpoint and sucks from a design standpoint. Like, seriously, the villain in this movie is garbage. And if you have watched these movies all your life, you're going to be able to see what... Even if you haven't watched Scooby-Doo before, you would be able to tell who's the villain and who's the big culprit behind the man in the mask. Literally, that's how they call him, the man in the mask. A mile away. This movie does not provide a good mystery. But it provides entertainment for kids, which is its main goal. But the biggest problem in this movie, and I hate to say it because I really like this guy, but Seth Green. Seth Green is a talented writer and a great voice actor, not to mention one of the most awesome Leonardos we are ever going to get in the Ninja Turtles series. But his inclusion here is pointless. It's pretty much the same thing as the forced relationship from the last movie, but you dial it up to 11 with a bunch of stupid other crap thrown in. His character is the worst in the movie, and Seth is trying. He tries to make it work, but it just doesn't. And again, what makes this even sadder is that just like the last movie, this was written by James Gunn. This is the guy that wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. He knows how to be funny, or how to write funny dialogue, or how to make likable characters. But here, it just doesn't work, and it definitely feels like a rehash of the original film, and I don't say that lightly, because a lot of the plot points feel exactly the same. I'm not talking about just the mystery stuff, I'm talking about the side stuff. Except for one element. Scooby and Shaggy's little side tale about wanting to prove that they are more than just screw-ups, which is a really nice sentiment, and I actually think it's the best part of the movie, their little side adventure. I really love that side plot, and it works very well in the movie. But anytime they try to make a scene serious or dark, a la, again, Zombie Island or Witch's Ghost, it does not work. Like this part where they're all disgraced and have to retreat to the clubhouse to try and rewire this thing, and looking back on memories. Like, you're supposed to feel emotion here. But aside from Shaggy and Scooby, I felt none here. Literally, I felt no emotion. I'm like, it's telling me it's an emotional moment. Like, I should feel emotional right now in this scene, but I just don't. I don't. And you pair that with a really horribly developed mystery and another boring, pointless romance, you have the definition of a mixed bag. For most of it. But I will admit that despite all those flaws, I didn't actively hate this one as much as most people seem to do. Nostalgia critic. Like, I didn't hate this movie. It has bad parts, sure, and it has parts that make me roll my eyes and cringe, but that's because I'm a 21-year-old man watching a movie that's supposed to be made for kids. And yes, I know I'm one of those advocates that always says, well, just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean you have an excuse to be lazy. Yes. But here, it pretty much feels geared toward kids from the very first scene. And unlike the first movie that had a bit of an adult edge to it, this one feels overly sanitized. Like, very overly sanitized. Like, hey, you know all that cool adult stuff we had in the last movie that actually tried to appeal to an older demographic? Let's just throw it out the window and throw crap CGI in your face. And lots of fart jokes for good measure. And crotch jokes, can't forget those. Look, I know that there are people that laugh at these jokes, but they are very hard to pull off, because there are, again, like I said in my last review of this, I said in the review of the last movie, there are good ways to do those kind of jokes, and then there's horrendous ways, where you're not even trying. And yes, there are moments that are going to make you roll your eyes, but even with all that crap I just said, I enjoy this one, surprisingly enough. It has kind of like a so bad it's good kind of charm to it, where it's not better than the first movie, but it's also kind of in the same quality level. Like, if you like the first movie, you'll like this one fine. You'll enjoy it. But if you didn't like the first movie, then stay away, because this one only amplifies all the problems with the first one. Now, granted, it also has a lot of the positives of the first one as well. But it takes so many steps backwards. And for a sequel, you need to really bring your A game for a sequel. That being said, again, like, it's a movie, it's like a cheesy B movie. And for those of you that don't know what a B movie is, that's stuff, that's like really old stuff. Like, when you know a movie like, say, Attack of the Killer Ants, for example, like, you know it's going to be stupid. You know it's going to be ridiculously bad. But you enjoy it anyway. That's how I classify this live-action Scooby-Doo film. It is a B movie. If you like B-movie cheesiness mixed with a little bit of Scooby-Doo thrown in, you'll enjoy it. If you're not a fan of Scooby-Doo, then stay away. If you did not like the first movie, then stay away. But if you like the first movie, check this one out. It's not that bad. My final verdict for it is going to be like I said, it's on a so bad it's good kind of quality for me. But over the years, the more I watch it, I start to understand it more and be nicer to it. Now, I was really nice on the first one because I have a lot of nostalgia for that one, growing up watching it a lot as a kid. But for some reason, as a kid, I just never got around to watching this one. It wasn't until I was already a teenager that I watched this one for the first time. But it's an enjoyable movie. It's still pretty good in my opinion, but Scooby-Doo deserves better. And I only hope that if we do get a third film in this little franchise, like a lot of the actors are saying is going to happen, then I hope we can finally get that perfect Scooby-Doo live-action movie. Because this is not it. My final verdict for this is going to be the same verdict I gave to the last film. It is a 7. It is a 7 out of 10. It's enjoyable, but I still think the first one was better. I appreciate it for trying to take steps forward by adding more stuff in from the actual show it's based on. But because the mystery's so bad, because I threw in another useless, unnecessary, pointless, forced freaking romance that didn't need to be there, and it still has all the problems of the first film, I can't give it any more than a 7. As a Scooby-Doo fan, these are enjoyable, but if you're not a Scooby-Doo fan, then stay away, because these are not for you. Well, that's it. I know this review is probably much shorter than the last one. I think the last one was almost half an hour. So, Hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on Scooby-Doo 2. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in comments down below. But please, please be respectful, okay? Please. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys tomorrow for my review of Treehouse of Horror 27. So until then, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm gonna go to throw some luncheons. Throw, Bazinch. Peace.